Hey, how's it going? It's Keith Townsend from the CTO Advisor, and we're here with more on-the-ground interviews, HPE Discover 2019 in the Sands Convention Center. Conversation is sponsored by HPE, and we have today another HPE executive, John Carter, Director of Product Management for HPE Synergy.
Yep. Thanks for having me.
Welcome to the program, John. Thanks for taking out the time.
Yeah.
So, let's start in a non-obvious place.
Okay.
It's been a couple of years since HPE acquired Plexxi, the software-defined networking solution, software-defined control plane for networking, et cetera, et cetera. SDN was really big a couple of years ago, still arguably pretty big. VMware is doing this thing with NSX, et cetera. So very, very active market. Talk to me about how Plexxi has made it into the product stream at HPE.
Sure. So a number of different ways, and from the Synergy perspective, we talk about composability around. And software defined is really a part of that. It's how we dynamically look at infrastructure as code versus being chunks of hardware. So Plexxi was really a great acquisition for us in terms of it allows us to extend the concept of composability beyond a single frame and look at that at a data center level. So we can now use that switch as basically our aggregation layer and treat the entire data center as one logical enclosure. It's really, really powerful for customers who are looking to instantiate that into a private cloud type of environment.
So let's talk about how that impacts policy specifically. Sure. So I have my composable Synergy chassis. I can compose whatever virtual abstracted server architecture I want. I can have big, small, just like in cloud and AWS. I can say, I have this set of services that I can offer up. How does Plexxi enable me to kind of control traffic between different parts of that fabric?
Right. So like you said, we have the Composer within Synergy, which is a hardware appliance with one view on it, kind of the brains of the whole operation. And that allows you to basically define what you want your workloads and your servers to look like. What we then do with the Plexxi CFM is to actually go in and set policies and set kind of guidelines so it will dynamically recognize different types of traffic within your environment. Once it flags those, it can guarantee service and optimize the path between two different parts of your data center.
So let's take that one step further. I didn't prep you on this, so I'm going to throw a curveball.
All right.
So let's say I have some storage levels within my Synergy composed infrastructure.
Sure.
Can I programmatically say that, I want this level of service for these applications, both from a network I/O and then from a storage I/O?
You can, and that's because OneView itself is based on an underlying API that runs everything. So you can communicate with it very easily. You can stand up servers and define all of the properties of them via one line of code. And whether you want to do that directly through a CLI or go out to any of your existing tool sets, we make that possible for you. So there's a large partner ecosystem, so you can use your Ansibles, your Chefs, any of those kind of stacks and manage infrastructure how you want to manage it.
Wow, so really great conversation, John. I really appreciate you spending the time to come onto the CTO Dose, and HPE for sponsoring the CTO Advisor at HPE Discover 2019. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, subscribe to the CTO Advisor on LinkedIn to get more insights around enterprise IT. Talk to you next CTO Dose.